Banning these video games will only serve to cripple one of America's key technological economies. It has already been shown that violent video games have no correlation with gun violence in the US. Instead, we should focus on the availability of guns within our country and the culture which propagates the use of them. The argument that addictive and habitual game use should constitute a ban is weak at best. Almost anything can become a harmful habit, whether it be tobacco use, too much fast food, even too much exercise. Banning something based on the inability of a small minority to control habitual tendencies would set a precedent which would make almost every human activity subject to banning. Also, a ban in itself would be useless. There are already millions of violent video games out there currently being played throughout American households and would continue to be played even after a ban made future video games not violent. Focus should be shifted away from the violent video games and towards the violent culture which has created a market for these games. A ban on violent video games is simply an empty attempt to appease the worried middle and upper class voters who are out of touch with the true nature of America's violent culture. Many other countries have the exact same video games with even higher rates of usage. Yet, even fewer instances of gun crimes and crime in general are reported in these countries. We must shift our focus away from superficial solutions and present a concerted effort towards the reevaluating of our societal norms. Parents need to take more responsibility for what their kids are exposed to, both virtually and within the real world. And the media should reevaluate its methods of coverage, which perpetuate a society centered around violence and aggression. I have presented what I believe to be valid arguments, as well as critical counterpoints to my opponent's arguments, emphasizing the necessity not for a stopgap style ban, but for societal reform. I have shown that violent video games are not the problem, but indeed the problem is the violent culture which has popularized them. Therefore, I believe I should win this round.